right. What number you guys want?
It's called
Number 26. Number 26.
Oh, yes, it's no number. That's 28, 26, 26. You're late, you're late.
Every time I.
Okay.
26. Teresa Carlton.
Alright, now.
Yeah, we got second. Hey, we got one more to give out.
Oh, wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
But still.
All right, next number.
No. That's Steve Thomas.
Oh.
Steve, no pressure, big guy. Everybody say hello to Steve Thomas. Now, help tell me just gonna pray with me. Pick a number from 1 to 28. No pressure.
1.
Wow.
The top of the first page.
Kaylee Brennan.
Kelly Brennan, point everywhere. There you go. There we go. We're gonna 1099 you for that.
You gotta itemize everything in there. You gotta itemize everything. I'm just kidding.
There more? Yes.
Yeah. We have
Go
one.
for it, Gail.
Randy's giving away some gift cards.
$15 to Carlos.
Number 22.
22. That's fine.
David Morris.
Woo!
All the way back.
He wins every time. What's up with that?
Hey,
One more.
And you
right?
get a nice
Come on.
chip clip to go along. Also, gift cards too.
No, it looks like 1, 2, 3 more. 2 t-shirts and a gift card.
Sicky's
Garage, $25. All right, next number. Number 24.
Leticia Gonzalez.
Leticia.
Yes.
There we go.
Back row.
I'm sorry. And you're a winner, so great job.
Thank you.
All right, next one up.
Did you sign me up?
Number 8.
Here.
Jeff.
What are you wearing here? Not the one, but 2 t-shirts.
Alright, we got a pink box, $25 gift card.
$25 worth of Pink Box donuts. Yeah. Number 21.
Oh my
Julie
goodness.
Jenkins.
You gotta bring it to the next meeting.
You done?
You're welcome, ma'am. That's it. That's it.
Oh, no, baby.
guys got numbers. Want to introduce someone, Shane Moody with Rock Title. And why is he important? Because he brought the food this morning. Well, and what was him, so let's everybody go.
Thank you for always being kind. I'm Shane Moody with Rock Title. We have a lot of people here today, so can everybody from Rock Title stand up really quick? And what I would like for you guys to do is just, Laura, I'll start with you. Just introduce yourself and tell them where you work at.
Okay. My name's Laura Moran. I used to work in the Green Valley office a few years ago, but I moved over to the Southwest office. We have a team over there. Been there for a while. Really love it. So good to see all you guys
You're
again.
amazing too.
Good morning, my name is Desiree Wright. I'm with Rock Title at the Southwest office. I'm new, about a month in. I'm loving it, but super excited to work with all of you.
How long have you been in business?
22 years.
I'm at the Southwest office. I'm a customer service manager, so I help with forms and profiles, social media, all that kind of stuff.
You guys, we want to support you, so if you need something, call Jaden or let us know, and then we'll forward things to Jaden. But we are doing a lot of stuff for agents right now when it comes to marketing. So, Sarah?
My name is Sarah McMahon. I have an office inside the Realty One Summerlin office, and then I also have a little area in our Southwest Rock office as well. So we hold lots of CE classes up there. Please come see us if you haven't. And we will be at the LVR Industry Night next week. So come see our booth. We'll have the neon sign. You won't be able to miss us. So please come by and see us, 5:30 to 8:30 next Thursday, week from Thursday.
Jeff Hatfield. I'm at the Realty One Southwest office. I've been in the business about 24. I've been in the business about 24 years. Moved over from a real estate broker. Moved over to title about a year and a half ago, and love it. So if you guys need any help, I'm here for you. I also teach a lot of classes as well.
Hi, I'm Jamie Lobby, escrow officer, actually right in that room right behind you, so I can hear everything of all the fun you guys have here. Especially the mariachi band that was happening. I've been in the business 22 years now. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Veronica. I'm from Rock Title here in Green Valley, and I'm here inside the Realty One Green Valley office. I've been in the industry for about close to 25 years, escrow officer, assistant, now marketing rep for the last 10 years. I'm here to support you any way that I can. I am bilingual. If you need any help with any resource marketing ideas, I put together a lot of classes here, and we love the opportunity to at least give us a shot once again. And follow us on Rock Title Nevada if you follow the Facebook and rockuniversity.com that has a lot of tons of resources for you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jamie Newmeyer. I'm branch manager and escrow officer right behind here at Rock. I know a lot of your faces, but not all of them. So if you guys want to stop on by after the meeting and chat, I'd love to get to know you.
And she's obviously recovering from a hip surgery, but she's doing amazing.
Thank you.
But guys, the reason why I wanted to show everybody, like introduce everybody, is to show you guys how much knowledge and experience that you guys have. And we are working really, really hard to support you. So please give us a shot, and we'll just continue to keep supporting you guys. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Give this guy a shot. He's really good.
Ready with Epic? Johnny, you want to say a few words? I'm good. You good?
Well, both me and John are from Epic Lending. John is out of the Summerlin office. I'm the branch manager here. Rather new. I've only been here since June. I look forward to working with you folks. I've been doing mortgages for almost 10 years. I have a lot of experience. I was lucky enough to be around during the refi boom, and I did over 207 transactions in 1 year, and I was actually a pinnacle lender for Rocket Mortgage and United Wholesale Mortgage, top 1%, so I kind of know my way around, and I also do have access to some other programs that aren't with Epic through private funding on hard money, so if you guys ever run into some situations where you need some help with your clients. And rates are pretty good on my hard money as well too. So anyways, I'm Benny, nice to meet you, and I just sit right over here. Thanks.
Well, I wanted to shout out to our corporate broker, Mark Otero, sitting right over there. One of my favorite brokers of all time, Jeff Wallen, thanks for the most And finally, the guy that put all this together. Good for you too.
You just walked in the perfect time.
Just all the work Tim put into this is amazing. What a great turnout you guys. So you're in for a real treat, Tim.
Thank you guys. Good morning. Show of hands. Who's from the Green Valley office? Okay, big hand down. Who's from Southwest? Who's from Northwest? I'm afraid to say
It's a long drive.
There you go. Who's from, let's just move on. Who's from my office? Pretty even. We expect you to be the...
Yeah, obviously.
You're in another state.
Yeah.
You're there you go, exactly. Anybody here, who's here that doesn't work for Realty One Group? Come on, don't be shy. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. We'll talk to you when we're done. But thanks for showing up. We do these things sometimes, especially when we bring in a speaker. We just pray to God you guys show up. You know, we do. You know, every 2 days, how many, you know, is the link working? And then, because otherwise he's not going to come back. No, the speaker. So I'm glad we got the room full. Has anyone seen Steve before? Wow, good. He speaks a lot here in Vegas. California guy, if I remember. Anybody have an economics degree? Just, you do? Okay. Steve has a quantitative economics degree.
I don't know what that means. But it sounds really smart, right?
Sounds
So,
impressive.
it really does. I don't know what that means, you know? But he's been around over 20 years. I think they were founded when we were, in 04, 05. So his company reports on housing, he's been around a long time, mostly California. But I think 7, 8 years ago, he expanded into Phoenix, and now he's expanded into Vegas. And you know, everyone knows Brian Gordon?
Yes.
He's the California version of Brian Gordon. He really is, he really is. So we all know Brian's slides and all that stuff. Steve's are just as good, if not better. So a big Realty One Group welcome to the one and only Stephen Thomas.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me. I'm from Orange County, and it was warm there this morning, but warmer here. You have to be. So we're gonna start with some fun photos, and this is just levity. Just want to bring you some levity before we dive into all these economic numbers. Yeah. Point of view. Yeah. Point of view of real estate agent on vacation. Doesn't it feel that way? There it is. Me baiting the interiors of everyone who's been saying the real estate market is going to crash over the last 5 years. The volume gets louder and louder. It is still out there. There are a lot of millennials and Gen Zs that's exactly what they're subscribing to. And I get to hear it all the time. They get mad at me. They call me names, all this stuff on social media. And it's just, they are hoping for that because they want their shot at real estate. I understand where they're coming from. But over time, it will improve. Taking clients you're showing in 2026 when gas hits $7 per gallon. This is mainly for california. You guys can subtract a little bit more, but still, it still hurts the pocketbook. Clients who won't use electronic signature. You don't know who this is, means you're young, but there is a reboot of this on Netflix. It's fantastic. It's Little House on the Prairie. Finally, a wine glass made for real estate professionals. Brilliant. This is an MLS photo. Seriously, I don't even know why I take the picture. There's an iron in the background, in case you're wondering. This too is an MLS photo. This too, prior to AI, this is real. I've had this for a while, because AI can make this all day long, because this is creepy, but somebody really out there made this, so this is creepy. So come on over to my place for drinks. All right, so I don't know why we do, yeah, you see bright MLS. This is what we deal with as agents, right? And this very important Call of Duty game couldn't be moved. Unreal. And we need to stop taking professional pictures because we're not professionals. This is what we end up with. Look at this awesome view behind bars. So my introduction is I'm a quantitative economics decision sciences major from UC San Diego in La Jolla. Been in the business for decades. Orange County native, Cap Valley High School grad. I do have 9 kids. I'm a top producer. I know I'm number 1. Anybody have any TV in this room? TV, man. Yeah, I've heard that for years. When I had 6, I heard that. So now we have a TV. So anyway, we're a Brady Bunch family. People said that, but we have an extra column. So I adopted her, she adopted mine, and then we had this guy. His name's Zeke. He's in the 3rd grade. He is fun. When you hang out with that many teenagers and adults, he talks like a teenager. And he's a lot of fun. And that kid right there came to work for us after graduating from Washington State University 3 years ago. And it's been fun because before I had nobody to talk economics with. I mean, I really can't talk to my wife about it. She has a health background. So I get to talk to him all the time. And then that gal, she's our oldest. She's married and brought us an amazing creature. This is Roman. There you go. Good. So now you know what I'm all about. That's my number 1. So we've been all over the press. Reports in housing, your local real estate snapshot. This is what I do. I'm a housing analyst by trade. This is all that I do. I used to do other things back in the day, but it's morphed into this is it. And I developed this in the 1990s as a way to cut through all the noise. There's way too much noise out there. Your clients have big opinions. Your family has opinions, your neighbors, people in the office, everybody has opinions. In order to cut through that, I developed the housing report just for my clients, buyers and sellers, because I represented buyers and sellers back in the day in the 90s. And now the noise is louder, it's more amplified, so we really need to get in front of our clients, buyers and sellers initially, to talk to them about the stats. And I don't subscribe to a narrative. I'm all about data, stats, and trend analysis, and bringing the real deal. I don't like politics. I have to talk about politics because it bleeds down into our industry. I can't tolerate it because it just, anything, it just messes with our spring markets recently. That's just not the way I like it to be, but I will tell you how the policies affect our housing market. So there's power and strength to data. That's really what this is about, and this is about leading that conversation. Otherwise, they'll go find it themselves, and they'll go to AI. We need to talk to them a little bit about AI up front prior to them even doing more research on AI. And this is just leveraging a report. This report is, I've had people that were swearing by it. I was in an office meeting yesterday, and some guy said, I saw you in 2019, and I get every single listing. And I attribute that to the fact that we give them your report every single time. And they get the right price, and they're very realistic. Who is investing in their business and has the subscription right now? Anybody in this room? So you will have the opportunity as well. So we don't focus that much on closed sales data because that is in the past. I'm not a big fan of talking about it because I really want to know what's going on right now today. So I look through the windshield and what's happening right now today. We look at today's available number of homes to show your buyers, and we do demand. So that's supply, demand. Demand is the last 30 days of pending sales activity. I have reporters, I have people that can't stand me talking about supply and demand. That's simply what's going on in the marketplace. I can explain it really quickly to everybody, but they don't like to hear it. They say this time is different and all that stuff, but it's really supply and demand. Supply and demand is just a snapshot of pending sales activity. When those change, which were seasonal, different things happen, rates change, there's differences in pending sales activity and all that stuff. And I can see things happen and we talk about that. That's what I do. And then I came up with something based upon the supply and demand called expected market time. It's just taking that supply and that demand, doing a division and multiplying it and coming out with how many days it would take to place your home into pending sales status, escrow. That's really what it's about. Everybody should care about it. Place your home on the market when you open up escrow. And that's the true speed, and it's been sluggish, but let me tell you, Orange County, I've been doing this since 2004. I did it for clients prior to that, but since 2004 did this, and you can see up here, this was the Great Recession. We had an expected market time that almost reached 500 days for everything on the market. Then everything came to a standstill. It was like getting onto the freeway and it was stopped. And at the same time, average days on market, which is why I hate days on market, it doesn't tell you the true speed. This was at 90. And then you flash forward to 2012 and you can see the expected market time dropped like a rock, yet where was the average days on market? 90, 95. So it wasn't telling you that it was a great time to purchase, and it really was a super time to purchase was 2012, especially look backwards to 2012, perfect time. Then it jived with each other. This was 5% interest rates in 2018. All of a sudden things slowed down. Days on market can never capture that. I can, because pending sales activity goes like this and inventory goes like this. And then this is during COVID, we had expected market time drop below days on market. And days on market couldn't capture how fast everything was selling. But I knew it. We were in the teens. In many markets, when we were in the teens, I knew you were writing the dumbest offers, and it was the most unhealthy market that I had ever seen. And I don't want to ever go back to that market. It was not good. We had prices go so fast that millennials, Gen Zs couldn't take advantage of it. And yet, yeah, who won? Sellers. So that wasn't the pace that I want to see. I'd rather see it gradually go up than what we experienced over here. So I was not a fan of it. Now we have days on market that is lower, a lot lower than the true speed of the market. And so it's not capturing how slow the market really has become. And that's days on market's awful. It doesn't really change that much. You can see it's like in the upper 20s for the nation. That's not what you want to tell anybody, is that you're going to sell in less than a month, because that is setting the wrong expectations. So now he understands that. I'm actually going to do a video with my new program called Stevenomics that just explains what expected market time is and why I hate days on market. But so our reports are used for buyer-seller consultations, to get price reductions, to get buyers off the fence, stop talking about everything that's gonna happen, and close more transactions by properly setting expectations. I'm in the expectation setting business, as are you. I'm just trying to assist you guys in setting expectations. And I really enjoy it. This is what I want to do. I want everybody to walk out of here understanding it, and I want your clients to understand it as well. What's really going on so they can make really good adult decisions and stop plugging into narratives, because it makes no sense. Even Wall Street gets housing wrong all the time. You gotta go to somebody that knows what they're talking about, housing laws. So we have reports that all over SoCal, Bay Area, Vegas, and Phoenix. Anywhere an airplane, I can go on an airplane and go back. Go back this afternoon, I will be home at 4:30, I'll go see my daughter's flag football game. That's what this is about. My kids can take it everywhere else in the United States. Because I have a lot of people requesting, can you come to Texas? No, you can't. That would require being a state of the night. So I will give you guys all a copy of this presentation. It's filled with information, and it's probably too much information, but I'm gonna explain what's going on and what to expect in the marketplace. And but our reports focus on one thing at a time. We have one main topic, and then we have what is going on in short, what's changing in supply, what's changing in demand, the speed of the market, and luxury. And then for you guys also, we have a small paragraph on high rise, which is simply stopped. High rise is very, very slow. And so then we have lots of charts and all that stuff below that as well. So these are some of the most recent reports that came out. It was easing into summer, talking about the transition from spring to summer. People got into June and said, what's going on? It's called summer. And we're about to do it again. As soon as we get into September, I know that summer doesn't end because it's hotter than the Hades out here until the end of September. It begins now in September. As soon as because everybody goes back to business, kids are back in school, we're now diving in. That's the way our summer works for our housing market. So there will be another transition. People going, what's going on? It's called fall, autumn market. And we have a holiday market as well and all that good stuff. So housing values plateau, that's kind of what's happened. It means that we've kind of hit a plateau. A lot of sellers have this expectations that the market's gonna continue to go up and there should be multiple offers and stuff like that. That's gone completely. We have to set those expectations. That's what this is about. The lull phase. So we got into June and things really did feel sluggish. And it's kind of like when you go to the airport and the flight delayed, they're all excited about going on a trip. Same thing. Sellers come on the market all excited and wait a minute. There's a lot of people lingering on the market for 30 plus days or 60 plus days, and that's what we talked about here. And condo conundrum, condos are much harder to sell than detached, and there's a reason behind it. So we've explained it in here. I did a YouTube video on it as well, nationally, so people understood it, but I talked about it for specifically Clark County. The most recent one that came out this week is AI pricing inaccuracies. I want to teach our clients to stop going to AI, relying on AI. It's not perfect. Matter of fact, in real estate, as far as the value of their home, they say that AI will give you these giant ranges, and it's not accurate. I've had one agent say, it's so accurate, and then I looked to see what he did, and all that he did was like a few condos in the last year. Well, yeah, you get condos, right? But how about the other properties? And I'll explain why. And even the condos, you're not gonna totally get right. You have to understand the nuances of it and put it into the prompts. But I love this stuff. I've already listened, I've exhausted everything that you can listen to as far as economics is concerned up to right now. I had nothing else to listen to. So I played Mosh on the plane. And nothing else to do because I was all up to speed. I listen to everything, and I am a nut when it comes to economics. I absolutely love it. And this is our economic model we follow, and it's a progression model because things constantly change. And so let's get into a brief mortgage rate update because mortgage rates aren't really changing. And there's reason behind that. And first of all, quick education, Federal Reserve. This is the Federal Reserve building. And the Federal Reserve building is not made up of one person. Everybody thought it was Jerome Powell. It's not now. It's Kevin Warsh. No, he's one of 19 members. There are 7 of them that are installed by a president of the United States, and they continue their term. Jerome Powell's continuing on, not necessarily normal, but he's just trying to protect the integrity of the Federal Reserve. But there are 7. Those 7 get a vote all the time. But what about the other 12? The other 12 are actually different areas of the country. We're in Region 12. It's based out of California. It's the West, and they rotate on a every other year or every 3 years. We're every 3 years basis in California. You know, we have such a big, nice region. It's every 3 years. Our gal's currently not voting based, like I said, out of San Francisco. So those 12, only 5 of them get a vote at any given time. 7 up at the top, 5. Those 12 are, they're installed by a board of directors, not by the President of the United States. So the way it works is, when for interest rates to go down or up, they have to vote on it. It has to be a majority out of the 12, 7 out of 12, not 1. There's no king that's making interest rates go a certain way. That's what the narrative was, but it's just not true. So now you understand how it works. They have a main focus. It is maximum employment and price stability. So maximum employment is price stability. So employment didn't do so well for last month. It was a surprise. It was down 23,000 as far as labor is concerned. And unemployment came down a little bit, but that's because of a participation rate. Really, we should be a little nervous if this ever gets above 5%. It looked like it was going that direction, but then stopped and went the other direction. But even at 5%, people are going, man, look at the unemployment, like it's 5%. That means 95% of the country is gainfully employed, which means that if we get to 5%, we'll have a recession. And what happens with recessions? Rates go down, and the 95% that are gainfully employed are going to actually get into the market because finally rates have come down. So now you understand, jobs it looks okay. We have jobs that have been going this direction, but they're not that concerned because unemployment has remained so low. But now this is inflation. You guys all know CPI, but CPI is the big one that everybody listens to at the beginning of the month. That's Consumer Price Index. We talk about it all the time, everybody does. And then we get to something else that came out this week. Came out yesterday, it's called PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditure. You're going, what are you talking about? It's a better inflation gauge, just like CPI, it's actually better. They're actually gonna fix it further because there's a little bit of something broken in it. CPI is also broken, but PCE is better. That's what the Fed actually prefers. And so this PCE came out, and you can see the Iran war started here, and we have a drift up, and this is with gas. Without gas and food, it's going on the wrong direction. Went from 3%, it's up to 3.3%. It's just not, it was a little stickier and a little higher than what everybody expected yesterday. And the markets are just reacting to little bits and pieces, but it's not changing rates that much. Because until we get this done, the Iran conflict, it's going to cause an issue. Iran is an absolute issue as far as mortgage rates are concerned. I don't know if you've noticed. It doesn't mean that when oil spikes that interest rates go up. What it means is that when oil spikes, that there's a problem with inflation. And the only way to counter that is they're going to have to increase rates, which is why our rates went from 6% to 6.75%. Everybody understands, knows this. We've got a big geography lesson. This is the Strait of Hormuz. Nobody knew it about 5 months ago. Everybody, a few people that are really smart or have family back in the Middle East, that type of thing. But other than that, there weren't that many people that could even answer that. This is really narrow. That's narrow, but this down here is even narrower. And there's a problem. Both of them are shut down right now. So it's an issue for oil prices, and as a result, we have higher gas. So, and we saw that. We were knocking on the door at 5%. We got all the way down to 5%. We were up here, and then in September of last year, September 3rd, we got below 6.5%, and we were cruising at great rates all the way until we got to right here. This was February 5th, 26th, and 27th. That was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We were at 5.996, 5.99, and then Saturday, the 28th, we started the Iran conflict that Saturday, and then boom, this is what happened to rates because oil went up. Yeah, so that's exactly, so you get an education as to what's happening with rates. Now we're stuck. We're stuck at 6.75%, which is the highest point of my range. I was at 5.75% to 6.75%. Actually, 6.5 is a little bit higher. And it has everything to do with the unseen issue of the Iran conflict. It's what's impacted us. Yeah, you understand mortgage rates. Mortgage rates aren't going anywhere anytime soon. The longer this thing goes on, the more that we're going to have an issue with inflation going on. They're actually meeting the Federal Reserve in Jackson Hole. I don't know if you've heard that, but that's where they're located right now. They're talking about all things economics. At the end of the day, there's a lot of them talking about raising rates. The reason it goes from 6% to 6.75%, that's like 3 interest rate hikes up, right? They've done nothing. But we've gone from 6 to 6.75. They went up a quarter, that'd be 3 hikes. That's what's priced into the system. If we didn't have Iran, we would have actually got down into the 5s because we had a really low we had like a negative 110,000 jobs that were lost. It was 110,000 jobs that were lost in February, and that came out March 6th, but we started the Iran conflict and it didn't move the needle at all on rates. Instead, rates were going up that day. So know that the interest rates go where the Fed needs to be. So even when they increase rates down the road, guess what? Nothing happens to rates that day unless Kevin Warsh says something out of turn or says something that gets the market spooked or something else that makes them feel better, then you can get changes in rates. But the rates where they're at today already have the rate hikes built in. And they're talking about September, maybe, probably not, an increase, probably not. I think it will happen in December or not at all. So we're gonna get into the housing market. So there are 5 unique seasons to the real estate market. The busiest time of the year is spring. That is where we do the most transactions. It's not the fastest point of the market, that's closer to Super Bowl during the winter. And that's because lots of people want to buy a house, not a lot of people place their home on the market in January and February. So spring is number 1 in terms of activity. We have summer, we also have fall, we have the winter season I talked about, we have the holiday market, slowest season. We don't do that many new properties listed, and we don't do a whole heck of a lot of pending sales transactions from the middle of November to the first 2 weeks of January. Never come on the market during the first 2 weeks of January where you're gonna sit there and say, what's going on with the marketplace? Why is it so slow? It's because it's still the holidays. People haven't even taken down their holiday decorations yet. You have to give them a chance to get out of the gym. They've got these New Year's resolutions to say, I'm no longer going there, not waiting for a treadmill, I'm gonna do something else, and then they're gonna go buy a house. That's what happens every single year. So 3rd week of January is when I would come on, or in February, if you want the hottest point, fastest point in the market. We're still in summer for a minute until we get to September 1st, which is right around the corner. What happens, you guys are actually peak a little bit later. So supply gradually rises for you during the summertime, and it continues. You actually peak during the fall market. You have a lot of people that come on the market in September and October for this, I don't know, last hurrah, snowbirds, something like that. I don't know what everybody says. They do the same thing in Coachella Valley, and they do the same thing in Phoenix, and I don't understand it because that doesn't match up with where all the demand's at. But supply gradually rises, continues to rise, you don't peak, and demand slowly falls. So this is why when you go through spring, beginning of spring it's busy, but then demand actually doesn't keep up with the amount of inventory. So by the time you get to the end of spring, it's slowing down. By the time you get to the end of summer, it's slowing down because you have more and more sellers competing and demand drifting down. So if you have demand drifting down and more sellers competing, that's why it feels more sluggish as the year progresses. I just did something called the seasonality of housing. It's on Stevenomics 101, just to explain it to your clients. They understand the differences, the nuances of the seasons. That will always sit on reports on housing on YouTube. So here's supply. Supply, this goes all the way back to 1982 when population sizes were a lot smaller, right? This is the supply of homes according to the National Association of Realtors going back to 1982. And you need 3 ingredients, and this ticks off a lot of people on social media. They can't stand me simplifying it like this, but you do need 3 ingredients, all 3, in order for prices to plunge, because prices don't usually plunge. They only plunged during the Great Recession. That's the only time we've had nationally prices plunge. Locally, you can have different things. Savings and loan scandal affected Nevada and really affected California in the 1990s, but we were only down less than 1% for 2 years, 1991 and 1992. So that wasn't a plunge in prices. If you're hoping for a plunge, you need 3 ingredients. You need all 3. And number 1 thing you have to have is a glut of homes, too many homes available. We don't have them. This is what we had prior to the Great Recession. I knew in the fall of 2005 that we had a problem, and then in 06, 07, 08, 4 million homes on the market, with a lot of people that couldn't afford their monthly payment. That's not what's happening today. Instead, we have supply scarcity. Yes, we have a lot more homes than where we did during COVID. And look at the direction of it. Yes, we're going up, but I'm going to argue that this is still really low because we haven't even hit where we were prior to the pandemic. And a lot of people talk about prior to the pandemic in Vegas. You can't. You guys built way too many homes. So if you compare the supply now to the supply in 2019, you built so many homes, you can't really keep track of it. So if you do the percentage of the homeowners out there that are listing, it's still really low. Your inventory overall will be low. But if you compare the whole number now to 2019, yeah, you're gonna get close, or exceed it. But they nobody explains that to anybody. So we don't have enough supply. So we're not gonna have a housing plunge. The second ingredient you have to have is low demand. We have that. Home affordability problem, low demand. So yes, check. You got that. You're right. We do have low demand. And but that doesn't mean that home value is gonna crash. Because you're also missing a third ingredient. The third ingredient is sellers that have to sell. They must sell. We do have some. We just don't have enough. During the Great Recession, we had everybody pretty much that was on the market. Pretty much everybody had to sell. Loss of jobs, can't afford their payment, lots of different things. People walking away from their homes. Banks were in charge. We're doing about the same number of homes sales as we were during the Great Recession. The difference is there used to be REO kings and queens that would run all that stuff. Now we all get to participate. So there's not a ton of that anymore. So it's a much better landscape as being an agent. You can get a bigger piece of the pie. You're gonna have to go after short sales and foreclosures. So although there are more, it's not gonna get up to the clients that we had prior to the Great Recession that led up to it. So this awesome family, they got married in 2015, bought a patio detached home, and then had lots of kids, 3. That's not that many for me, but that's still a lot of kids. Now the issue is, okay, now in during COVID, they refinanced to a really low rate. They could afford it before, they're dual income, now they can afford it even more, and they made 25% more from 2019 to today. So their incomes across the United States have gone up 25% since 2019. That's a big jump. Now they have so much extra income that they can go play and have fun, go travel all the time. It's just, I know that they're running a room inside of their place, they're doing everything on their porch, because it's only a patio home, right? And I know these 3 kids will get bigger, and then they'll want space. And they've been living in their house now for 11 years. It's gonna get to a point where they're gonna go, enough fun, let's get a house. And that's what's happening over time. The longer this goes on, the more Americans, even if they have a low rate, are gonna turn that into something different so they can get out of this patio home situation or whatever their situation currently is. So they're hunkering down in their houses right now because of their low rate. And I don't call it locked in because they really can do it, but they just don't want to do it because it's going to be a lot more cash flow gone, but their budget, family budget, could handle it. Now, from the National Mortgage Database, I've downloaded, and it comes out quarterly, and it talks about lots of things about homeowners and their mortgages. Now, 40% of everybody across the United States owns their home free and clear. So the other 60% have a mortgage. And this is through the first quarter of 2026. In Nevada, 67%, 2/3 have an interest rate of 5% or lower.
Wow.
And then it's 49%, close to half, have an interest rate of 4% or lower. And it's 19%, it was 20, went down to 19, have an interest rate at 3% or lower. So it's about 1 out of 5. Who in this room has an interest rate 3% or lower? I love doing this. That's a lot of hands. That's more than 1 out of 5. But all those hands that went in the air, I need a vulnerable moment. Who is thinking about moving in the next 2 years? Thank you for raising your hand. So that's it. Why? You're just sick and tired of waiting. 4 years ago, it was August of 2022, the last time we had interest rates in the 5s for a long period of time. 4 years ago, that's 48 months ago. That's a long time. How long do you want to wait for interest rates to get back in the 5s? It might be another 48 months. Does that sound appealing? No, but you know what? It comes a point where somebody's going to pull the trigger and make a move. So, and I just showed you this. I'm not going to show you the numbers. I'm just going to tell you. This is the 3-year average prior to the pandemic, the green line. When you had a lot fewer sticks, you built a lot, and you're still placing fewer homes on the market than you were even prior to COVID. Even though you built a 10% more homes since 2019. That's a lot of extra sticks, yet your inventory, number of homes coming on the market, is still less. And this was 2023, when we had values going up. Why did we have values going up when we had such high rates? Because nobody across the United States placed their home on the market. Very few when we're here, and normally we have that. So few people place their homes on the market, we have no demand, sellers won. Then in 2024, the purple line, more homes came on the market, we started to build an inventory, and the market slowed because demand didn't change. People are going, buyers aren't buying. No, the same amount of buyers. 4 million buyers every single year have been buying since it started in October of 2022. So we're about to hit our 4-year mark of 4 million annualized home sales. And so, same numbers. So no buyers going on strike, we just have more sellers participating, and that's why it's so sluggish out there. If you're at 2023, things still sold, and prices were going up. This is 2024, and the red line's 2025. And in 2026, the orange line is slightly fewer, even though there's slightly more right there. Slightly fewer homes, about 3% fewer homes came on the market this year than last year. I didn't think that was what was going to happen. That wasn't on anybody's forecast, and that's exactly what happened. We actually have, even though we had a whole bunch of people pull their homes off the market, this year we've had fewer homes come on the market, just slightly, 3% less, all the way through July. And 66%, it was up 66% in 2025. These are the numbers of homes pulled off the market, the red line. And the orange line is this year, which is identical to last year, the numbers, even though it's different per season, but the same number of homes coming off the market. And it's way higher than it was in prior years. What does this slide tell you? It tells me that sellers don't have to sell, or they're not willing to do what it takes. Because I hear a lot of people go, well, a lot of these people place their home back on the market. Still, good indicator that they're not realistic and unable to do what it takes to sell their home, and that is called either get it all dolled up so that it's perfectly turnkey, or reduce the price. Those are their only options. It's not, I'm gonna unplug with this agent, go with this agent, the same price. That's okay, you're gonna do the same exact thing. The market's already responded. So there you go. And we have to have that conversation. We need this in front of every single seller while we're meeting them, before they come on the market. So they understand that this is just a recipe for wasting everybody's time, including their own. Do they really want to do this? Is this what they want? This means it's not like it was during COVID, where everything sold. And this is the active listing. You can see you had nothing on the market back here in 2022, a little over 2,000. Then later in 2022, it went all the way up to 10,000. And this is for Clark County. And then it was over here, and then slowly but surely, more and more homes on the market. That's where we are right there today. Exceeds where that doesn't exceed last year, but does exceed where we were back in 2022, when there was that big shift in rates. And you can see we're actually a little bit higher than where we were last year at this time. And this is, today we're at 10,546. That was up 2%, or up 194 homes in a 2-week period of time. This actually does include Mesquite. I actually take Mesquite's MLS and blend it and get a proper number. And last year we were at 10,244, so that's 302 homes less. So very similar to last year. You can see the blue line, look, nothing on the market in 2023, right? So that's what I was talking about. 2024, purple line, more homes came on the market. 2025 built an even bigger inventory last year. 2026, same inventory. Same number of homes coming on the market, a few less. 2 years ago, we were at 6,910, now it's 34% fewer homes on the market. So you like to peak in Clark between September and the end of October. Most everybody else across the United States peaks typically right around August, the first couple weeks of September, and in SoCal it's between July and the end of August. But they haven't peaked yet either, and they're about to hit that peak for mid-August. So your peak comes a little bit later, and sometimes comes even later than what's normal, and that's just because we had high interest rates. We had 8% interest rates in 2023, and 2024 we hit 7.37% interest rates. And so where's it gonna go from here? We'll hit that peak and come down. It'll be very similar to last year. So now you have the inventory where it's at. Now we're gonna talk about supply. Now we're gonna talk about demand. This is AI's interpretation of low demand with a open house that you're getting nobody to go through. And although originally it had this sign right in the middle of the sidewalk, I'm going, Tim, what did you do, like drill a hole? Seriously, AI, do better. And so they did, and they have and all that stuff. But low demand, there's just not enough buyers that are out there for the number of sellers that are out there. That's really what's going on. And what is the gas pedal or brake for our housing market? It's interest rates. And interest rates, last year we were at 7%. For a part of the year, we didn't hit 7%. Our height is about 6.75%. That's kind of where we're playing right now. So with $3,000 per month, with 20% down, just principal and interest, how much of a home can you afford? If you want $3,000 per month as a payment, $570, about $9,000 of a home. Now earlier this year, we we were at 6%, remember I told you in February. That's $625,000 of a home. And we were supposed to get into the fives. We would have made it to about 5.85% with that jobs report that came out on March 6th. That's $642,000 a home. Do you see what happens? You're going from 578 to 642. That just opens up the door for a lot more buyers to be able to purchase, and you'd have a lot more activity. And so this is why I was praying like crazy for interest rates in the sixes, then I said fives, and now we're stuck here, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So we got to get used to this. It means that the market that we've had in the past is going to be the market in the future. We just need to understand that. Now we got to do everything in our power to empower our clients up front to have a dialogue with buyers and sellers to let them know what to expect in this marketplace, because they're both wrong. It's not 2008, and it's not COVID years where sellers got to call the shots. It's balanced, or a little bit tilting toward buyers, but not where prices are plunging or anything like that. So this is pending sales activity across the United States. I did this because I don't have enough data for you guys, and I'll show you for you guys because I started in 2022. You can see, even during the Great Recession, we did more pending sales activities, and this is 23, 24, 25, 26. Looks the same, doesn't it? We would have had pending sales up here had we been in the fives, but we didn't because of the Iran conflict. Instead, it is a fourth year that looks the same. And you can see, this is for Clark County. There you go, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Looks similar, doesn't it? It's because it really is. And everybody makes a big difference about the changes in pending sales activity. It's not really changing that much. It has been a little bit lighter right now, but not by much compared to even last year. You guys got a little bit of a boom over here in May, and that's because we had those lower interest rates for a minute, and people were exhausting those, and then we had pending sales activity come back down to where they were last year. As a matter of fact, we were at 2,171, it went up 11 pending sales in a 2-week period of time. So that's it. That's demand. It's the last 30 days of pending sales activity. Last year, we were at 2,220 at the same time period, which is 2% higher, 49 extra pending sales. So it's very, very similar. And a lot of people they do this nationally too. They say, look at the change in the pending sales. It's not changing. It's not changing much. Buyers aren't going on strike. We have the same number of buyers that are purchasing, just maybe a little bit different nuances from month to month. 2 years ago, we were at 2,173, which is 2 extra pending sales. So very, very similar, you can see. So not a big change. I'll get you guys a copy of this too. So this is Las Vegas demand. So you can see where we're going. Where are we going to go from here? We're just going to follow between the blue and the red right around there. And you don't see, you guys see a big giant jump in demand even though more homes are going to come on the market? I don't see it in here. Where do you see all the demand? Where does it peak? Over here. April to the end of May is where we have a peak in demand. That's the peak in activity. But you can see at the beginning of the year, demand goes up like crazy. You get Super Bowl, this is over here. People go, man, it's the best time to come on. It is. Not a lot of homes on the market. You have demand going up like crazy. And so what is the speed of market? Place your home on the market, when are you going to become a pending sale? And you can see that this expected market time, when it gets really low, it's really hot. This is you guys, where for a minute you guys got down to like 19-day expected market time, over here about 18 days. That's a ridiculous, dumb, unhealthy market. Don't want to ever go back to that, like I said. And then later on that year, you guys are way up here. It came down here, and this is 23, 24, 25, 26. And this is where we are right now. And so where are we? Looks very similar to last year, doesn't it? We dipped underneath of it because we had a little bit better year-over-year mortgage rates. Now we're a little bit higher mortgage rates, so we're a little bit higher than that. That's it. It's not that big of a change. And this is the speed of the market. You can see blue line, it got busy in 23 and 24, slowed down more inventory. 25, slowed down more inventory. 2026, we had our spring. It's a lot slower. Like I said, the longer you wait during the spring and then during the summer, the longer you wait, the slower the market feels. And that's what we have to explain to our clients so they understand what they're up against for the rest of the year. They can say, I'm going to come on the market in October. You can't. You need to show them this because it might be that they want to wait till February 15th when it's the hottest point of the year, where it's over here rather than up there. That's their decision. They can make that big boy, big girl decision. We just provide them with all the facts and data so they can make that decision. So where are we today? We're at 146. I know that sounds like a lot. And that's because that's not quite the 5-month supply. But I don't like months. 10 years ago, I changed it from months to days, because 5 months is 150 days. So that's why I came up with this. 146 days, we're gonna have 2 days in a 2-week period of time. last year we were at 138 at this time of year, so it was a little bit faster, but you wouldn't really notice it much, but I can see it in the trend analysis. And then 2 years ago, that's the purple line, we were at 95 days. 3 years ago, you could see, right now at this time, we were at about 64 days. And that was just because of the balance of not enough sellers on the market. So what's the speediest time of the year? You can see it come down, and it looks like it's right around March 1st to the end of April. That's the speediest time of the year. So it's not quite Super Bowl, but if I was to come on market, Valentine's Day. That's when I would come on market. Valentine's Day, especially if I was budgeting. Where are we going for the rest of the year? It's gonna continue to slow down, more homes are gonna come on the market, and then it'll just follow very closely to 2025. Difference between attached and detached. Now, if you, on our reports that are emailed out to you, there's a charts link. Click on the charts link, and we break down attached and detached inventories and demand and expected market time. And then we do this. This is an important slide to show every single one of your clients that is thinking about listing a condo, because condos, the expected market time is 175, detached is 136. A lot slower for condos. Why? Litigation, special assessments, high HOA dues. We have other issues too. Starting this month, there's no more streamline for Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. And then January 4th of 2027, they're going to change the reserve requirements from 10% of all their annual to 15% of their budget. So it's going up. Do you think that's going to be a problem? Absolutely. Do you think there's going to be people that will not be able to get loans because they don't have the right reserves? Absolutely. And I know of some condo complexes in California where they have a special assessment of like $22,000 for all the homeowners because they don't have enough reserves. That's what we're up against. And that's going to be a big giant shift. It's going to slow things down more, and I'll be talking about the disparity between detached and attached. We need to tell them that. We need to inform them that. So know that this is coming. If you market to that, talk to your condo people, this is a good time to sell their condo and get it detached. So a lot of the market feels sluggish. Most of the market feels balanced, where buyers and sellers are both pulling back because buyers are ticked that things are unaffordable. Sellers, I don't really have to sell. I'm not really that motivated. And so there's a real stickiness to pricing, and that's why it feels more balanced. It's tilting slightly in favor of buyers, so they get to call more of the shots during negotiations, but prices aren't plunging. And then there's a lot of homes that actually feel like they're hot. Like, you know that the homes, back in the day, I used to take clients in my car, and then I'd go in there and we'd see a house, and after a while they'd want to write an offer. I'd leave my clients in the car. I'd go talk to the sellers and the agent, go back to my clients, tell them this is the counteroffer. Then I'd go back, do you hear that? That was the old way we did it during the cave days. That was in the early 1990s. And we had MLS books, they were paper, there was nothing else. So that's the way we did things. So I tell you that just so that you understand, things have changed. Buyers today have access to not only MLS, they have everything at their fingertips the moment it comes on. And they've already seen everything. They can't wait for the next home to come on. That's why you get one shot at a first impression. You want to totally take advantage of that first impression. We got to talk about that to our clients, our sellers. No rushing getting your home on the market. Let's come up with the right price, and let's get everything in working order so that they don't have to do anything. It's truly turnkey and they can sell it. So we have to have that conversation up front. And that's what we talk about all the time in our reports, precision pricing. So they're waiting for the next property to come on. When it does come on, they get excited because it's a new property. They're gonna look at the virtual tour, all the pictures, all the context, and then they're gonna look at price, and they know price. Because they've been playing long enough, they know where the price should be, and if they see something that looks good, priced right, and everything else, they go, wow, I wanna see this house. They talk to you and they go, I wanna see this house. And you go, okay. Go show them the house. And then they go through the house and they go, wow, that's a great property. I want to write an offer. The problem with those wow properties where they get really excited inside, they're not the only ones. And it's 10% of all homes in Clark County sell above the asking price. For this very reason. 10% is not a lot, but you guys have a sluggish market. Still, 1 out of 10 homes sells above the asking price. How does that happen? Because there's 5 offers generated, 1 seller, and they all want the property. Who wins? Whoever's willing to pay the most. That's the seller that wins, oftentimes goes above asking price. That's a supply and demand thing, goes like this, boom. Totally the seller wins in that scenario. That's what goes on. So And then your client says, I don't wanna go above asking price, and you go, I'm sorry, no wow properties for you. I don't even wanna pay at asking price, no semi-wow properties for you either. You have to have the stuff that's been sitting on the market, that's total junk, that looks like a dog, smells like a dog, it's a dog. It's gonna need a little extra work, you're gonna have to put money into it. That's the ones that they get to go purchase. So, this is each city in Clark County. I have like LA, it's 3 pages. You guys have this nice little box. Very nice. I have the current number of available homes, what's demand last 30 days, what's the expected market time right now, what was the expected market time 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago. And this is Henderson. What it is Henderson was at 148 last year, it's 140 this year. Boulder City was 258 last year, it's 263 this year. Vegas, 138 last year, 149 this year. Laughlin, 393 last year, 282 right now. Kind of like one of those secondary markets, that's why. Mesquite, 170, 177 now. North Las Vegas, 98, 109 now. Now, North Las Vegas has always, since I've been doing this, been the busiest. It sells the fastest.
Can you go back a slide?
Yes, yeah. You mean this one?
You guys, you're gonna get a presentation of this.
Yeah, you'll get a copy of this presentation, but is it?
I'll get a copy.
You're talking about that one? Yeah. You're gonna get a copy of this presentation. I promise. I will give you one. And then you can subscribe to the report, and this is the bottom of every single report. Every single report. Because your buyers and sellers, everybody should know what's going on. It's like, right now, you're going in and you don't quite know the differences. This is the exact differences in the speeds of all the different areas that you guys are working in. Henderson was at 148 last year, like we said, oh, we already did this. And then let's go to here, and let's talk about Don't Trust AI. This is huge. I stumbled upon this because I wrote a report back in the day, and I heard all of your people's clients are resorting to AI too much. So we now have to have a conversation up front that goes, okay, you got to this point, you need to unplug AI, because it will lead you in the wrong direction. Buyers should not be taking their inspection sheet, uploading it, and say, what should I ask for from the seller? I've heard this. That is like TNT for a escrow. It'll blow up the escrow, 100%, because it'll come out with this 50 line item of everything that they want. Dumbest thing ever. And they don't know better. They think AI, they've been talking to AI like crazy, that it knows everything, and I should be asking for this. It's gonna steer them in the wrong direction, but we need to let them know how dumb that is. Can you imagine being a seller and receiving that? Yeah. And buyer, don't write that then. Don't plug that thing into AI. We have that conversation up front so they understand it. We have to have it with buyers and sellers. Sellers cannot go to it for their estimates or asking AI. AI, what does it do? It just goes out to Zillow, it goes to Redfin, it goes to Realtor.com, it goes to all these and puts it together and then comes up with their best guess of that home. It's called a guess. And AI it's really, they go out to all the automated valuation models and try to figure it out. That doesn't mean they get it right by looking at everybody. That does not mean they get it right at all. And Zillow, it is AI. They've been doing it for close to 20 years now. It is AI. They've been perfecting this thing. It's called linear regression. That's what I learned. And it's putting in all the inputs so they can arrive at the right price. And they're way off. They can tell you that your home is worth $675. It really is $599. That's off. Or they can tell you your home's worth $599. It's really worth $675. That's how bad they are. And they cheat. So you go to Zillow.com/Zestimate, and you'll get all of their disclaimers and how they're doing in Vegas. You wanna know how they're doing in Vegas? Right here. They have this thing called active listings, and that's what pops up. Now, across the United States, they have a 1.7% accuracy. In Vegas, they're even more accurate, 1.29% plus or minus. Isn't that amazing? But let me tell you, this is called cheating. Because what they do, these are active listings that sold. What they do is they take the listing after you've listed it, got them at the right price, and then they recalibrate their Zestimate based upon the price, the pictures, everything you do, and that's why you guys get a brand new Zestimate. So then when they do that, they're off by only 6,450 plus or minus. It looks like they're fairly accurate, right? But really, when you go to it prior to it being listed and you're feeding it in the price and all the pictures and all that stuff, it's called off market. There are homes that sell off market, they have 0 days on closed sales. What happens to those? Those that sell off market. Well, this is how accurate they are, because then they don't have cheat. They don't have the true list price so they can recalibrate and say, look how accurate we are. They weren't accurate. We told them how to be accurate by pricing it, right? So off market is off by 4.68%. Across the United States, it's off by 7%. So maybe they're a little bit more accurate. That's plus or minus $23,400. That is a range between 476.6 and 523.4. That's not close. That's not what our clients come to us for. This is what it looks like visually. This is in the latest report that came out on Tuesday. This is what it looks like visually. Yeah, it looks like they're close for the $500,000 estimate. It's in between there. But where are they really at when their clients are going to it? It's right here. And here's the true range. They're off. They don't know what they're talking about. And why are they so off? They can get the cookie cutter houses down right if it's truly cookie cutter and fits into all the different parameters accidentally. Because what they're missing is they can just see it like this. They can't get underneath that roof. They don't know the nuances of that. They don't know which school district, all different things that go on. Maybe this backs up to something, some area that's not so great, or it is great, or it's gonna be near a ballpark, or whatever it is. You guys know all that stuff. They don't plug that stuff in. And instead, they're missing lots and lots of everything that goes on underneath the roof that you know. That's condition, upgrades, craftsmanship, lot characteristics, views, privacy, floor plan, deferred maintenance, curb appeal, location nuances, buyer perception, overall presentation, remodel, amenities, odor or cleanliness, smell like a dog, look like a dog, presentation and staging, seller motivation, competing listings. They don't get that. As a matter of fact, I asked AI, in order for you to have a proper linear regression model, that's what I do remember, to come up with the right price, what would you come up with to adjust it? They came up with 100 different items to follow it. I just took out 12. 100, which means they know they're not accurate. AI knows. If you ask it enough, it goes, yeah, we're totally, we know. No idea what we're doing.
We screwed it up.
We can do the macro area. Where they get it down is the macro area. What is this estimate? So this is also Zillow.com/Zestimate. Make this a part of your presentation. This is important because they used to say, meet with a professional, but now they say, restarting point. So that they don't get sued, can't be used in place of an appraisal. Because they're so off on their estimate. So that's why they put this in there. And then below that is how they do in all the big metros. You guys are big enough so that you guys show up in that. But they get the city down right, like overall. They can get Las Vegas, North Las Vegas. They can get these areas down right. Zillow can for the whole area. They can tell you what's going on in prices. They just can't tell you what's going on with that one house. When you have a lot of something, you get more accurate. When you have one, not accurate. And that's called microeconomics versus macro. And that's, they get the macro down, not the micro. And I know she's pretty and she's your AI buddy and she gives you all the answers and all that stuff. And Alexa has this voice now and she tells me, that's yummy what I put on the grocery list. And I go, dude, I don't want your little comments. I actually don't think that's yummy. It's for my kid. So I don't like the back and forth. Everybody humanizes it and they look at it as a deity, like it knows everything. Let me tell you, in data land, it's dumb. I've had big arguments with AI. We go back and forth. And they go, how did you arrive at this? You should have had this answer. Oh, is that what you wanted? Yeah. You wanted it. That's the answer. That's how this works. It's called math. And if you don't believe me that they don't get this right, iBuying. Zillow used to do iBuying. They used to do iBuying. They lost $1 billion in unplugged. Open Door also lost a ton of money. Loads of money. Why? Because they can't use AI to come up with a value for homes. They lose their shirts. We need to have this conversation with sellers.
Did you hear about Zillow's CEO? He sold his house 40% below his estimate.
Well, he must not have had that on the market because it would have been recalibrated and they would have redid these estimates if they were that far off. Very unrealistic.
I mean, is there something to be said with the iBuyers? I mean, it was kind of trending upwards, so it kind of makes sense at the time. They kind of peaked with the market.
They did okay. Even during the trend upwards, I was going, holy crap, they're in for it. Any kind of a hurdle in the marketplace, they're gonna splat. They're gonna lose their shirts, which is exactly what happened. And then they were forced to get rid of this platform because it made no sense. They were not making any money on it. So iBuying is a good little conversation tool to have with your sellers beforehand so they stop turning to Zillow or AI, which which just takes all of them and aggregates them together. And have you heard about Ryan Serhant?
Yes.
Isn't that fun? He had a $50 million property, and the buyer goes, am I paying too much for this house? And I said, oh yes, totally paying too much. The seller went, am I getting enough for this house? And the AI goes, totally. I mean, you're not getting enough. You actually could have got more. And that's what it's going to tell you whatever you want to hear. That's what AI does. AI just color codes it, and you can, or I get comments, and I know they're thrown into AI. I'll call them out every single time that they throw that into AI, because the responses, they keep on doing these giant paragraphs, and they keep on responding. I'm going, yeah, I can have an argument with AI all the time. I'll turn on my AI, put their stuff in AI, and just duke it out. Comments keep on going, I get more views, thank you very much. It's just dumb. Because I wasn't accelerated speech debate, I can debate anything. That's kind of the way AI does it. Like, you can debate anything, it might not be that great, it might not make you feel good, but they have no feelings or anything. They don't understand anything, it's just AI. So there you go. That was on CNBC, you can find articles on it and all that stuff. Why would you want to bring that up? To show it, it's way off. It has no idea what it's talking about.
They're using the M-dash too.
Yes, right? So the data is, for each individual property is broken. Hopefully I showed you that. And that's what this report was about. There aren't enough, you have to do a ton of prompts in order to get it at the right price. That's it. And no one's going to be able to do that, especially the layperson or anything like that. You don't want to rely on that anyways. You can go comp by comp and you understand it because you're the local expert. That's what it's about. There's a lot of misinformation out there. It will not replace an appraisal, no way. And it definitely won't be able to replace you scrutinizing the data and understanding the nuances of an area, period. Because then you meet with them and you guide them. We just need to have that conversation up front about AI for both buyers and sellers, because they are all relying on AI and Zillow and all the other stuff. So my market overview really quick, and we'll wrap it up, is for luxury, here, 750,000 plus. Top 10% of the market is above 750. That's what luxury is, and it's been that for each year. It hasn't changed. Inventory is at 2,075. It's up 3% compared to last year. Demand is down 1%, down 3 pending sales compared to, this is just year over year. So I keep on doing that. I'm very consistent. I will continue to do this on and on. You can expect me, that's what I do on your behalf. Expected market time is 236 versus 227 last year. Sounds the same, doesn't it? A little bit different. Can you tell the difference between 236 and 227? I don't think so. So, and this is different price ranges. This is also with every single report. This is what's the busiest, 400 to 500,000. Not as busy as it was last year, but it's still busier than all the other price ranges. You need to know that. If you have a $3 million plus, it's 369 days for a reason. Aren't that many buyers in that range. Not as many fish in the sea and a lot of competing sellers. That makes it 369 days. You get excited about taking a $7 million home, but you need to take a 1-year contract. That's what that tells me, right? So this is luxury closed sales. So far this year through July, it's up 58 sales. So basically the same as last year. And then as far as closed sales of all ranges, it's down 1%, down 121. So last year looks like this year. That's all that tells me. 121 is nothing. And this is that thing I told you, remember that client that wouldn't, no wow properties for them? So 56% of everything that's sold in July sold below the asking price. 56%. So yeah, there are some that go below. 26% sold at the list price, semi-wow properties, 26%. The wow properties, I was wrong, not 10%, 18%. It was 10% earlier this year, over here, but now we're at 18%. So there you go, that's a good swatch of homeowners that will actually, buyers that actually go above the asking price. Those are just wow properties. These are the ones that sell really fast. And here's Zillow House Price Index. I told you they're good macro, and they'll bring it down to the zip code for free. Zillow research data. Go there, it's free. And then download that into AI and ask it questions. How much has it gone? They track it since 2000 every month, what the prices have done in each price range, each month. You want to know that for your zip, because you have somebody that says, well, how much has my home gone up since 2019? Medians won't really tell you. That gives you a ballpark. It's like days on market. I don't like it. This is better. Is it perfect? No. Better than medians. Medians will tell you nothing. It's more like an EKG. And so this is Clark County. This is where we were. You can see that at the beginning of the year, it was down not that much, and then it started to go down more because we have had higher rates. And we're down 2.8% year over year. That means it took a whole year to go down 2.8%. Not the next listing comes up, you reduce it by 3%. That's not. It's a year to get there. And that's what it will continue to be like that until we have rates lower, and I don't see that happening, so it's gonna tilt a little bit in favor of the buyers. Not like this, boom. It's just gonna be a little bit, and that's that, 2.8%. It's down 0.4% month over month. Do the math on that, that's not a lot. But they need to know that's how little it is on a monthly basis. You accrue that over a year, and it's 2.8%. So, and you can see this, that this was during the Great Recession, and we came down here, and then it's gone up like this, and then this was COVID, boom. This is 2022, boom. And it went up like this because of not enough inventory, and now it's slowly drifting down. We're gonna continue that slow drift. Just continue the slow drift until we get rates at around 6%, which I don't see when that's gonna happen. We're almost there. So this is just a demand and supply thing, I told you that. It's just that if we had interest rates at 5.85%, what do you think happens to demand? Boop. Totally different spring. Memo to the administration, stop doing tariffs and conflicts during our spring market. Wait till the fall. Yeah, then you go do whatever you want. I don't know. I just think that's why I can't. Politics ruins my curves. Not these curves, but these. I'm pretty flat. Precision pricing. You need to be intentional on pricing, and this is what I talk about all the time. Precision pricing. People, they have to price it right. And there should be no rush to putting it on the market immediately after you take that listing. Let's get it ready. We only have that one shot at it, at that first impression. Let's make it right. Priced right, all the bells and whistles. You think that any buyer gets excited that you reduce the asking price down the road? They already know the property. You already blew that excitement. It's like, oh, they reduced the asking price, oh, by 20,000. Maybe I'll go take a look at it. And they net less, because there's not as many people that get excited. You gotta tap into the excitement, that initial first impression. 44% of everything that's available in Las Vegas, Clark County, has reduced the asking price at least once. And for the nation, it's 42%. You guys are 44%. And this is my claim to fame. I love this. I do this twice a year. And this is, I will show you, you will throw away money when you reduce the asking price. 61% of everything that sold in July did not reduce the asking price. They got 99.4%. For my math frame, we'll just say, pretend it's $1 million property. That's $994,000. They lost $6,000 in selling. And they were on the market for 18 days. In July, 22% sold, it had to reduce the asking price between 1 and 4% in order to be successful. They got 98.8. That's 988,000. Less than 994,000. That's thus they flushed money down the toilet because they didn't take advantage of that first impression, and they were on the market for 48 days. If they had to reduce by 5% or more, which is 17% of everything they sold, they got 98.7. They just lost another $1,000, and they were on the market for 75 days. That's what this tells me. And these are just looking at it over and over again. It's not high prices, low prices. It's just not pricing it right and taking advantage of that first impression. And that's what we have to talk about. And then I'll really quick do new home sales, and that's because finally the new home inventory's come down slightly, but it's on its way down. It's a standing inventory, stuff that's done that doesn't yet have
End of year.
Yeah, and then we get to the end of the year, right? But we have standing inventory. That's what we typically don't have, and they're at a months of supply of standing inventory that the builders don't like. So they're throwing a ton of money at this. And know that this is, the Resi Club, I'm a subscriber of that stuff, and this just shows you, this is just Lennar, but this is like all builders. This just gives you an example. And we're West Coast. So this is how much they're giving, the purchase price, how much they're giving away in closing costs, 10%. So 10% is how much they're buying down rates and all that stuff here in the West Coast, which includes Vegas, Arizona, California, Washington, Idaho.
That's excluding commissions and all that other stuff.
Correct. Well, I don't know. I would have to look. I would asterisk. I'd have to get back to you. You can give me your card. I can find out what it entails. but that's still 10%. But there's different areas, like Texas and South Central, look at that, it's 20%. They're really throwing a lot of money because they're even more sluggish. They have a real problem in where they have new homes in Texas and Florida. And this shows you 23, 24, 25, 26. The builders are unhappy, and this is why. Because they have to throw a lot of money at it, which means their bottom lines are shrinking. And so that's what I got. I have a housekeeping debrief I do every Thursday or Friday. I'm here, so I'm making one for tomorrow, Friday. And it's reports on housing on YouTube. I just record one and put it up there, and there's just a whole bunch of old ones that you can get to your clients when they start saying the dumbest things. If you have an idea of something I should cover, let me know. Let's Talk Housing, Reports on Housing. This is our podcast. We dropped one last week. We do one every other week. We record on Fridays. And then if you're a subscriber, you should be getting a weekly text message. You have to opt in when you get your first report. A lot of people didn't opt in, so give me your card and I can get you this. It's just every week. You're not getting a report next week. You will if you subscribe. I'll give you the last one. But it tells you the difference in supply, demand, and the speed of the market. And we have a sold report that comes out once a month. It's next week. We'll have a sold report that comes out that dissects every single city as the sales to list price ratio, original and last price ratio, price reductions, all the stuff that we talked about. And we also have a lease analysis that we do that comes out next week as well. This is monthly, besides every other week getting a report. And Stevenomics, I just started that. Like I said, I think I have a couple episodes. I have a lot more that I got to do. I just haven't had time to do it. That's on Reports on Housing on YouTube as well. And Nerd Lab, for all those that are subscribing, in September we're going to be launching Nerd Lab, and what that is you're going to be able to go in and get specific city information just for Las Vegas versus all of Clark County or North Las Vegas or wherever your heart takes you. And it has other stuff that you can download and then bring to your clients as well. This is what, when you leverage AI, it's just a tool. It's not replacing what we do. So reportsandhousing.com, that's where you go to subscribe. It is emailed to you. We'll email you the most recent one, that one on AI. AI comes out every 2 weeks. And at the bottom, there's a bunch of links for you to repurpose it. And it's $20 per month or $200 per year, and you get them on free if you sign up today. Does anybody want to sign up for it? You should be investing in your business. Raise your hand. And here's why. I will not charge you for the first 30 days. It's on the 1 month from the day is when I charge you. So on day 29, if you go, I don't want it, Steven. No big deal.
Steve, is that the special Realty One pricing?
Yes.
That we talked about there?
Yeah.
Sure.
You get a free month, and then what you can just give it a test drive, say cancel, and you will not pay anything. If you do it annual, you don't pay for that first month, so you get 13 months. So can I get some help? Fill these out, get it back to me. I promise I'll stay on my person. I don't go back to an office. I go back to my home office, which is behind a lock and key. My thumb. My kids can't even get in. And I will get you the most recent report, and then I'll shred it afterwards. Are there any questions while you're filling these out? Any questions that you have?
Steve, I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
According to your report from last year to now, how would you describe the market? Is the declining market here?
Did you get one?
I'm looking at it in a basic point of view for people who are doing appraisals so that they can get refinance.
Right.
And sometimes it was declining market. I totally agree, disagree. I think it's about stable.
It's a balanced table, it's slightly declining. If my forecast had, probably very similar, 2.8%. We're not going to do that much of a change over the course of a year. That is coming down a little bit, but it's not coming down a lot. That means that if you look at a comp, maybe it's $1,000 less. They should be adjusting it like crazy. We're not a declining market like we were during the Great Recession. But as long as we remain here at 6.75% and the amount of inventory we have, it's just slightly in favor of buyers as far as negotiations are concerned. And you're going to have some sellers that just want to do it, and then they'll pull the trigger. But they're not going to pull the trigger off of, like 5% off or 3% off the last comp. They're not going to do that. They'll exercise their discretion and I'll pay $1,000 less than the last comp. I'll do that.
So if you were an appraisal, would you put a declining market or stable market?
I would say If those are the checkbox?
My question is.
Depends on the appraisal.
I would absolutely, I would say it's a stable, and then the notes say slightly declining, because I wouldn't call it a declining market. I couldn't, because it's very, very balanced.
When you put slightly declining to the adjuster, it looks more like, okay, declining.
So I would put a stable market for the property that is truly turnkey and they did everything they want to do, stable. Their prices aren't going down. Matter of fact, they'll get a little bit more. If it's been on the market for a long time and they didn't do all the right things, they chased the market down, slightly declining. That's why they're going to get less.
In your report, you have all this?
Yes, we talk about slightly favoring buyers. We actually have one that's talking about slightly favoring buyers. Yes.
All right, do you notice any significant differences with the 55+ community over the general population?
Yeah, it's strange because we have a big data pool. In our backyards we have Laguna Woods and Leisure World and Seal Beach, and then Laguna Woods is actually owned city, and it's a retirement community, and it's like the same rate. And there's investors that are in there as well, so that's part of the issue. So there's some extra properties in there for the investor people, so they kind of clog the market a little bit. Because I wouldn't say the demand's changing that much over time, but it has changed a little bit.
Buying habits different?
Yeah, not really. I'm not seeing a big difference. They follow the same patterns that everybody else does.
Do you think they'll change over like the next 20, 30 years as far as like?
You're gonna talk to the silver tsunami?
I don't know, like honestly, like respectively, just like the younger generation.
No, we all will go meet our maker someday. I'm getting older. My knees are bad. I can't run any longer. So I get it, and that's what just happens. It's the nature of life. Yes, the volume will increase as far as the numbers that do churn, but we're all getting older too. We're gonna need a place that we're gonna need to go, so the Laguna Woods and Leisure World look really good. And so, as far as investors are concerned, we're not gonna stop getting older. And but there is a point where population does make a difference in about we're not making enough babies and we've stopped immigration. So around 2000, now it's going to be 2050 where we're going to start to decline in population, and that could be a real issue. But as far as baby boomers and all that stuff, they are going to be selling their homes. But then the heirs have three different paths they can go down. They can either move into the place, which a lot of people they're aging in place in a home that they would go, well, I've lived in my home that I grew up in. So there's a lot of people that will. There are others that will lease it out. That's the second one. The third one is sell. So what does that mean? It's not going to be this giant, all of a sudden everybody dies, and inventory is going to go really high. That's not the way it's going to happen. It's going to be a good churn. And there will be churn down the road. There will be opportunities too, because a lot of them haven't done what it needs to fix it up and doll it up, and then you go in there, turn that thing around, and sell it, rehab it, and sell it for a premium, and that is going to continue to exist for a very, very long time.
On your presentation, you wrote 750 was considered luxury.
Yes.
Does that pertain to California also?
No.
Gotcha.
No, this is each market. You're the top 10% in each market. I'm in Orange County.
Okay.
Do you know where luxury starts? 2.5 million.
2.5, okay.
So the average home sells for $1.3 million, little cracker box, 1.3 million. So I go down the street and I look at these things, 1.3 million. So you have a $2 million house, you're not even close to luxury. And that's the way, and then it's $2 million in LA, $2 million in Orange County. I mean in San Diego County. Just depends upon the county.
Okay.
1 million for Riverside County, 850 for San Bernardino County.
Are you using the builders sales tool in your reports, or it's only second one?
That's wonky. I'm doing detached, and I will talk about builders in some of my Clark County stuff, but it's wonky because they leave stuff in the MLS and they leave it, they burn it for a long period of time, and that's why they kind of have their own like little field for some of that stuff. But it's also sometimes they have them as placeholders and they're just models. They do different things, so they just mess with the data more than anything else. And then you have to go through the title company in order to get the true actual stuff. So I'd rather see what's going on with them and know what you're competing against. Know what you're competing against, because if they're doing these buy downs and they're paying 10% of the purchase price, which is what, for a $500,000 home, that's 50 grand that they're throwing into this thing to get it sold.
Plus
Well,
interest rate 4%.
yeah, but then they have to go in there and everybody still has to do a few things. So yeah, you like new, but you have to
We
do.
have my friends 1.3, 1.7, second, on the second day of the month.
Yeah.
Build them.
Yeah, it's a crazy question. Yes.
The rental market, how does that correlate with detached? In a way, like, what I'm asking is if rates do drop, there's gonna be more buyers that get out of the rental pool. Are you seeing?
Yeah, the problem is we don't have enough entry-level housing. So what's gonna happen if we had interest rates go down too fast? What we would have is a problem of entry-level is not enough homes for sale. That's what I already see with the lower supply. You don't feel like it's low supply, but I'll tell you, it'll get eaten up really fast by the demographic that you just talked about, entry-level. And then we have a problem, then you have nothing available, and you see prices go up a little bit faster in the entry-level than it does. Luxuries has been a better space because of the K-shaped economy. If we had rates that come down, it would start to catch up in those lower.
Yeah, because there's a lot of rentals available, people are gonna want to put those up for sale.
Yeah, that could be something else to watch, which would be good because they're probably renting entry-level. And so then that would just add to the overall supply, which would be a good thing. And that's what, if they saw that it was doing really well, they might say, I don't want to deal with the landlords. Or some of these landlords, they just kept their low interest rate and then put somebody in there, and now they realize, I don't want to ever do that again. They're going to take advantage of the better market.
Just a quick question about private equity and hedge funds, how they've gone into real estate, pretty much every part of our lives, from vet offices to, I think they even youth sports, everything is essentially owned by hedge funds, private equity nowadays. How do we foresee that in the next 10, 15 years, where they essentially want to make everybody a renter?
Yeah, well,
And in Vegas especially, I don't know the percentage, but a huge percentage is owned by private equity.
It's not as big as what you think. The private equity that you're talking about, they make up a tiny little fragment of the overall leases that are out there. They're doing a lot more building rental communities down in Phoenix.
There's a lot.
Doing it here. And they're doing it here, but not as much as they do it in Maricopa. Maricopa is that thing takes you an hour to get from one side to the other. It's ginormous. And well, it does here too, but there's desert in between. But there, it's like they built this mega county. But they're only going to go. They're being somewhat limited right now because they can no longer go in there and purchase a whole bunch of properties, but they are still able to make these communities, and these communities are something that the millennials and Gen Zs can tap into because right now they're having a hard time tapping into real estate, so they're taking advantage of that space. But down the road, that dual income, I heard this, dual income, no kids. Heard all these new acronyms, they're going to be more and more of those that are going to be purchasing more people dual income, period. And then the baby boomers that eventually go to meet their maker are going to be leaving money behind too, and that's going to empower the millennials and Gen Zs and all that as well. So it's always a moving target. To know exactly how it's going to play out, that's why I get to do what I do. Fun. Sounds to me like you and I can maybe enjoy a little whiskey and talk about it, because that's fun. That's my thing. I like talking about that stuff. I only have my son.
Just to go along with your thought about the hedge funds and stuff, real estate, even 30 years ago, for people to gain as much as they're hoping to gain on a return on investment, real estate in a lot of sectors is not seeing that gain that they used to. So people are going more towards sports, right, or crypto or whatever to leverage their income to get the highest return. So some of them are even steering away from that on purpose because they know the return isn't quite there.
And they're net sellers right now. The mass institutional, everybody's picking on both sides of the aisle, them. And I'm actually more concerned about the mom and pop renters than anybody else, because you're sitting, you saw the hands that were up for 3% or lower interest rates, and if they had to move, some of them were going to go, I'm just going to rent this puppy out. And I'm going to move over here. And I'm cash flow positive over here. And that's what we've had. So they've actually been the biggest growing segment that nobody's talking about because we don't want to penalize them. We just want to penalize the hedge funds and all that stuff because it sounds good, but that's actually not where all the play is right now. They're actually not. One last question, I'll be here afterwards.
Oh, the cash flow is actually changing, because a lot of the taxes and insurance are going up too. So we're starting
Yeah.
to understand the cost of building a house now, it's not more expensive, so insurance is starting to go up. And I've gotten a lot of calls from buyers that they're like, hey, my payment went up, I thought it was fixed. The taxes or the insurance that are going up, so they're gonna call.
Yeah, that's a real problem. Insurance is a big issue. It's, they used to not put it in the affordability index. And there's Jonathan Burns does things for new homes across the United States. He's based out of Newport Beach. And he actually added insurance, their company added insurance in there because it's a real problem. It's made things really unaffordable now compared to the Great Recession. And it's more like on the lines of 1981 unaffordability. Thank you so much for having me. Give me them to fill it out, and I promise you I will get it back to you guys. And I'll be here afterwards for questions that you continue to have.
It's nice to just talk. You know.